Okay, so remember they're changing my voice. This video is about women and their judgment. So, first of all, if you don't judge solely based on the content of one's character, who they really are, then you have bad romantic judgment. Okay? For example, a lot of females talk about a guy who doesn't even have a job and he's lazy. Obviously, I've been working for on record paying taxes for like 20 years or so. Okay, so obviously that's not me. But they say that they don't want to pay for them. They call them a man child and so on and so forth. Okay, that argument is stupid. We can immediately say, what about a disabled person? Okay, and say, well, that's a selfish bitch who wouldn't even consider dating a disabled person. And that's the case, And they say, well, that's different. Well, what other exceptions can we think of? What about somebody who's blacklisted for doing the right thing? They change my voice, they fuel me and target me every day. This is a racist system. Okay, when the Queen died, she was like, I believe, 96 years old. She was damn near born. She was born in like 1926 or something. Shortly after World War I ended, 7 years after World War I ended. Okay, she was like as the story goes, if I remember correctly, she was like some kind of nurse in World War II. Okay, segregation was still alive and well. Those Masons who have they're centered around more or less England, the UK. Okay, and she's not the only old person who's influential. And of course, she passed away, but she's not the only old person who's influential, who is still alive and influencing things. How many of these multi-millionaires and billionaires, multi-billionaires, are older people? Okay, so it is pathetic, racist as fuck if the person's a person of color. And to some degree, if they're not, it's racist because it's a racist system. And you're saying to a poor white person, hey, because you're not as rich and racist, assuming they're not as racist as the rich white person, okay, that you're not going to be given a chance because you didn't kind of, embrace your family's old money and the network of social clubs who quite often include child molesters, who prove their loyalty almost certainly by molesting children on videotape or whatever, what I'm saying, on record. That is very, very disgusting. This is a planet where 3 million children starve to death or die of hunger-related issues, where 1 in 4 little girls are molested. Okay, now what kind of a female raises a guy who molests little girls? RNA expression, that is patriarchal line, is almost certainly more responsible. But also the patriarchal expression is also in the female, right? RNA, right? Patriarchal versus DNA, right? Just DNA versus gene expression. How you actually come out, your inclinations, your color eyes, and so on and so forth. So they're saying that unless you conform to a racist, sexually immoral, right? The word racist is like rapist for a reason. The Klan raped countless females. It's kind of, in those famous cases, Oberholzer, what have you. Okay, racist and rapist. Stay away from the white girls and date the way we say. Don't be an uppity N-word, okay? Because we are regulating this situation and we want women to look up to us and think we're more mature than you and so on and so forth, okay? And they think that they should date with the standards of the corporate society that controls the hiring. You know why people turn to drug sales? One reason, which is a common reason, it has to do with the structure of the school system. It's still a white supremacist school system. They don't even bother to learn how different people learn. Most people, come from oral traditions when they're indigenous, right? They come from oral traditions. They didn't come from traditional school settings. So you gave the white man the upper hand. You didn't bother to say, how do these people learn? That's racism. It's for them, by them, and they've considered that and wanted to give their own kids the upper hand. That's racist, that's greedy, that's sick, and when you know that females date based on money, more often than not, financial stability at least, if not straight up money, okay, that's fucking rape by deception. You think they appreciate all the reasons why not to be a satanic person in that regard? It is demonic to date based on money. Even their Bibles say it's the root of all evil. It causes people to err. You can't serve God and money, what have you. But they don't get this. That's not character when you date based on financial stability. In fact, I go as far as to say the best and the brightest in American history included people who were blacklisted, who were poor. So you're basically saying you won't date some of the best and the brightest. And today, I'm blacklisted. It'll be very hard for me to be financially stable for a long period of time. Okay? There'll come a point when I won't have a job if I live that long, but I almost certainly won't live that long. Like I say, better 4 years of a righteous life persecuted than 40 years or 400 years or 4 million years living as a slave to social norms and the system. So it is impossible to hear this argument and to think that I'm wrong. It means they never grew up. She said, I got to have my Barbie doll. I got to have my aromatherapy kit. I got to have my Mercedes-Benz and my luxury apartment and my nice expensive clothes and purses. That's a little slut that never grew up, a little racist slut. Because even she's like, oh, I'm not racist. She's conformed to the social norms that come from scientific racists who are methodical, cruel, sadistic, and evil. 1 in 5 CEOs, according to their own publications, are said to be psychopaths. Psychopaths, narcissists, pedophiles, sexual sadists, and their allies. And you're like, oh, social norms, right? It's fucking pathetic. Now, when we look at how women have treated me, you say, what is character? Character is admitting that you did me wrong, even if you don't know who I am. Okay, if you accidentally run over a child, you're like, well, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to keep going because it was an accident. Or do you own up to that situation? You see what I'm saying? So by them cheating me out of my right to lead, they owe me, whether they knew they were doing that or not. So the answer isn't for females to say, hey, conform to society and then make your pitch to us. That's sick. You want me to conform to pedophiles, psychopaths, narcissists, assorted political fair weather lemmings, social norms, assorted criminals and cruel, complicit evil? Read Revelation 18. It says, come out of Babylon's spirit and system and cultures. So you won't share in her sins. You want me to share in the sins of the most evil generation in human fucking history with no excuse in 2022 for being evil before I make my pitch to you, you fucking slut, you bitch, you demon, you whore? Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Maybe you think that's a noble thing to fucking demand. And well, so you can be safe? Rule 1 in being a woman is you don't put safety over principle. You're gonna put your safety over fucking your child's safety? Then why on the earth would you put your safety over doing God's work? And then you want to protect your child's flesh, make sure they come out as a fucking demon because you don't understand that 4 years of righteousness is better than 400 of wickedness? 4 years of serving God is better than 400 being a slave to sin? And the stupid social norms and customs and traditions of the system? Why don't you females get this? What kind of a slut and coward raised you? Exodus 15:3, the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. His spirit is willing to die for justice and righteousness. The foundation is justice and righteousness. Isaiah 5, Isaiah 28:17, Revelation 19, waging war with justice and righteousness. Isaiah 16:5, seeking and speeding the causes of justice and righteousness. Proverbs 16:12, the throne is established in justice and righteousness. The Lord detests dishonest scales. What Proverbs says more than once. Honest scales and measures come from the Lord. The way, the truth, and the life. Pay the worker his wages. The laborer is worthy of his hire. And you people owe me coming on your fucking knees saying you're willing to do whatever the fuck I say. And that's the reality of the situation. When you cheat on your husband and he's talking about divorce and you get on your knees and start crying, I'll do anything, baby, da-da-da-da-da. That's nothing compared to what you owe me and how wrong you've done me. This is the most important time in human history, and one who's slacking his work is brother to one who destroys. Whoever doesn't gather with me scatters. And you've been scattering with the best of them if you're an attractive female. They market with attractive females, the mark of the beast, and marketing their cultures, rules, norms, traditions, church hypocrisy, and what have you. If you don't know that I'm right, you need to run and not walk to obey God through me, because you are a dumb fuck. Like a maniac with shooting flaming arrows at random is one who doesn't know to obey God through me. Thank you.